Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Francis Pannulla, and I'm a personal development and recovery coach based outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I work with clients to achieve various different goals in personal development, recovery, their life, and it's also something I personally work on myself. I'm a firm believer in these different processes because I've seen them work, both in my own life and other people's lives. So I know that you can develop this process through which you can identify different goals and things that you'd like to work on, develop a change plan on how to get these things, and then go through it until at the end you see yourself on the other side and you're like, wow, look, I did it. And then what's the next thing that I'd like to work on? And personally, I do this like year by year by my birthday. For some people, maybe this is a New Year's resolution or something that you just thought of that you'd like to work on or develop. And, so personally for this video, I'm doing how I make lifestyle changes that last, because a lifestyle change is exactly what it says. It's where you change a large part of your lifestyle, how you go about your daily life. It's not just, sometimes it's not fleeting, it's not temporary. This is how I'm going to act or behave going forward. And so how do we make them that last, so that the way they're sustainable, that way they, can stand the test of time through all different seasons of life, as they say, as opposed to when I was younger, I might decide to make a change. Maybe you stick with it for 3 months, 6 months, you're all gung-ho, you're super into it, and then eventually you fade out. So how do we really make these things last? How do we make them, part of our makeup, if you will? And I kind of put a few pictures here, just some different things that I've identified they'd like to work on. And that could be, things like being more organized, having a budget, better time management, whether that's, your time outside of work or at work, learning how to prioritize tasks, which I recently did a video on time management that talked about these exact concepts of how do I go about managing and organizing my time. Next, I put like some different fruits and vegetables, like how do I, start to eat healthier, not temporarily. Like suppose you decide, okay, I'm gonna eat healthier, and it lasts a couple months and you go back to your previous diet. These lifestyle changes are really our lifestyle. Think about, your diet is your diet. It's what you eat on a daily basis, not like a temporary 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 1 year thing. Because if you do it temporarily and go back to your previous lifestyle, you're gonna have the same results you had before. Next I put a book, because for self-study, self-development, personal development, these different things, learning new concepts, and that's part of time management. How do I develop the time to sit and read these books and learn these things, to watch these videos? And next I put, guy exercising, and that's been something that's been very beneficial in my life, and a lifestyle change that I've made that, I've had lasted for several years now, and I'm proud of myself and think, when I think about my own personal change, how do I stick with these changes? How do I make them last? How do I incorporate my lifestyle, where sometimes people might do them for a few months and fall off, which is something I've, said I've used to do in the past. So in thinking about this process, I came up with some kind of key concepts and questions and thought-provoking statements and things like this. So first, what do you want? What is it that you want? What is your goal? What is the thing that you want to work on? And I listed a few different examples here, that might be common ones that people would like to change. And that is, would you like to be healthier? And by being healthier, that, it's not necessarily a number on a scale. It's overall to feel healthier, to have more strength, to have more endurance, to just feel better walking up a flight of stairs, to be able to go for a walk around your neighborhood, like your own personal goal. It doesn't have to be you're going to be, Mr. Olympia bodybuilder, just be healthier for yourself, whatever that looks like for you. And especially when we're talking about sustainability, what is a realistic lifestyle that you like to lead as far as health? Next, is it a new job or career that you like? And sometimes that can be going back to school. How do we develop a plan to think about this? How do we go about finding out about financial assistance? Or do I have the money to pay for it? Where do I sign up? What schools are near me? These different things. This is all literally part of the process of change. Or a new job. How about, building my resume, changing my resume, applying for different jobs? Do I want to go into a new field? What would I need to get into that field? Who can I ask about this? How about new or improved relationships? Perhaps you're a single person and, you have these other things. You've been working on your career and your health, but you're like, I really want somebody to share this with. So how can you go about literally thinking about setting up a plan for how can I meet somebody, whether it's looking for people online, joining a dating service, all these different things, putting yourself out there and going out and talking to people more, somebody you're interested in. Maybe you have somebody in mind, but you just haven't had the courage to ask them out, these different same things. So maybe that could be a goal for you, is to work up the courage to ask somebody out. Perhaps it's manage your finances better. You have the job, you have the career, but perhaps like your spending isn't where you'd like it to be. You're just not budgeting, which is one of the examples from the pictures. So, how do we manage our finances better and get it to stick, not just do it temporarily, but get it to last? Or perhaps to manage your finances better, you want to travel. You're like, what? I really want to go do these different things, but I never seem to have the time, never seem to have the money. So how is it that I can get myself to save when I need to save, to use my vacation time when I need to use my vacation time, and to stick with it, because there's a difference between, dreaming of something and thinking about it and then working towards it. And once you develop the ability to set a goal and the confidence, the self-efficacy to know that you can set a goal, work towards it, and achieve it, it becomes like a fun process where you want to do in other areas. So next I have some questions to ask, dig a little deeper. So how bad do you want it? The thing that you want, how bad on a scale of 1 to 10 would you say you want it? Is it like a 6, a 7? I kind of want to change careers, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to be healthy, but, I'm not sure if it's something I really want. How bad on a scale of 1 to 10? And sometimes this is what's your motivation. If you got a recent health issue and it really, put a scare into you and you're like, I really need to work on my health. Maybe you're more motivated than a younger person. It's like, I kind of want to look a little better, maybe. And that's, once again, how bad do you want it? So next is why do you want it? And that kind of goes that same thing, the motivation, because the stronger our motivation, you'd be surprised what it is that you can do. And it's figuring out what are your carrots and what are your sticks? Is it because you fear something like, bad health issues, or because you want something like, oh, I want to be able to go out and, to swim and not, have my shirt on, for somebody who was overweight when they were younger, like to be able to view yourself differently. And, people can call it vain, whatever you want, but it's your own personal goals and you decide these things for yourself. When you're asking yourself, why do you want it? Is this coming from a healthy place? These are questions that really only you can answer for yourself, because deep down, why it is that you'd like something. So it goes like, what are you willing to give up for it? And for me, when it came to the exercise, I love video games. So it's like, okay, well, I have these hours that I could be at the gym in the evening that I play video games. All right, let me take, 2 hours out of gaming time, put my health there. And I'm like, what? That's not that bad. To sacrifice, at the time, first like 3, eventually like 5 days a week, of exercise at night for a couple hours. Sure, I miss out on a little gaming, but what I get from my health, how I feel, how I just, view myself, both, physically view myself and just also like kind of metaphorically, I'm a person who I think I'm kind of, as a person who works in coaching and in recovery, if I appear healthy, I think, and I appear that I put effort and take care of myself, people are more likely to listen to what I have to say. Like, this guy's walking his walk, he's doing his thing. I've heard them say opposite with counselors who are working, and they said, like, this guy doesn't have self-control in these other areas of my life, but he wants to talk to me about how to control these different areas of my life. So I think it's just part of I feel like almost responsibility for what I do to walk my walk. That's why this is the questions I ask myself. This is my process, because this is literally what I do for myself as well as help other people, so what was I willing to give up for it? Give up some gaming, how does it fit with your other goals? It fits with my goals of health. It fit with my goal, honestly, of like I wanted to get more stress relief coping. So, and I'd heard about the stress relief benefits of exercise, but I really didn't understand until like I was experiencing it. And sometimes that's the case with things, and that's fine, but once you're doing it, I'm like, if I don't get to go to the gym the week, I feel off. If I have like my schedule doesn't allow and I can't really adjust things around, I cope. but it's definitely more pleasurable to be able to do it. So it really fits with my goals, also fits with my values, which, kind of inform what your goals are. They should, your personal values. So it was really something that I was motivated for. And also because one of my motivations is my family doesn't live super long. My father died at 63 of a heart attack. And I realized that for like the average person out there, if you're like a blue collar guy that like eats, regular dinner that's not super healthy for you, but not like takeout, eat like breakfast sandwiches from places, and, just smoker and these different things that, it's really tough to make it that long. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to try and, last a while here on earth, I'm like, I'd really like to work on my health so that way I can enjoy this place for as many years as possible. So once again, these carrots, how I want to view myself and feel about myself, be able to work with people better, and these sticks, things I do fear, like health issues. If I don't take care of myself, more Americans have, so I believe, cirrhosis, from fatty liver disease than from alcohol. And I'd heard this on the radio before, but it's more people have a horrible diet than have, alcoholism. So it's just something to think about, that this stuff really does affect you, especially long term, can shorten your life. And goes for like the health aspect mostly. So next, I think about, once I develop the goal, okay, I know how bad I want it. I know what the thing is that I want. I kind of know what I'm willing to give up for it. Let's make a change plan. Like I said, develop a plan of how to achieve this. And some of the questions I asked myself, so we identified, what is the thing I want to change, the goal? Why is it that I want to change? Who can help me with this? So for example, I said for schooling, for education, maybe you call a college, talk to like a guidance counselor or college advisor. Most places that you call have a person that literally, that's their job, is to help explain to you the process. Don't be afraid to call some places. I'm just calling to find out information. Get a little notepad out, write down whatever they say, and it can inform your decision. Call several places, and that'll help you, kind of get through that process and learn how to, get this information you need. Same thing for like a job. So next thing, how? So be like, okay, once I find out, okay, I called the school, here's how I apply, here's the classes I'd have to take to get this thing. Okay, I brushed up my resume, let me go on Indeed or whatever website you use, start applying for these things, talk to these people in these industries, maybe get a foot in the door. Here's the how. For health, maybe I'm going to get a gym membership, get a personal trainer. I'm going to start researching things online about diet and exercise. I'm going to talk to my doctor to see if I can exercise in the first place, depending if you have cardiac issues, different health issues, joint issues, all that stuff, talk to your doctor. Next, when? Set like a time frame for yourself. How long is it going to take me to achieve this goal, or the length of time? Give myself a year, and break this down. So maybe, all right, by 3 months, I'd kind of like to be here. By 6 months, I'd like to be here. Maybe 3 months, I'd like to have all the information in place, gather things I need. Not really ready to start yet, but I'm in the process. By 6 months, I'll be starting to change the thing I'm doing, and, and so on and so forth. But developing that, time frame and that plan, which would be going along with the steps of your goals. And see my change plan video. I already made a video specifically on a change plan, on how to make one, develop one. And once you, like I said, you get used to this process, it's like ad libs. So you literally, you just kind of fill out in the change plan. Here's what I want to do. Here's who I'm going to talk to. Here's why I want to make the change. Here's how I'm going to know if my plan is working. Here's how I'm going to know if it's not working. Here's the adjustments I'm going to make if it's not working. Here's where I plan to be by this length of time. All these different things. Like, it's literally the same exact process. And once you get so comfortable with that process that that you can put in the ad libs and work towards it. It's not going to be perfect, but if you practice, patience and persistence, that you can achieve these things, it really helps your self-efficacy and your confidence in making these lifestyle changes. Like, I know that I can make this change and stick with it. It's not going to last just 30 days. It's not going to last 3 months. I'll be able to follow through with it because I have this process in place. And honestly, I think this is just a big part of it. I could break this down. I could go through the stages of change, a trans-theoretical model of change like Prochaska and DiClemente, and how people go through the stages of change. But honestly, one of the reasons I make these videos is to try and break this down in a way that like just most people can understand without having to dive into all the scientific and psychological parts of it. I can make it in a digestible format with the video that you can see my face and all this good stuff, and I can read it here for you instead of just reading it in an article. So last but not least, like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It's a quote from Lao Tzu, and I really like this because, you know, understanding that you just got to kind of begin, and there's no shortcuts to it. Sometimes it's making the phone call, it's watching a video like this, it's making the change plan, but that single step, and then using that snowball effect. I had a client once I was working with who had read a book called The Compound Effect. I haven't personally read it myself, but he had talked about how you have this momentum that builds through these different things in your life, and through these different habits and routines and the things that you work on, you develop in different areas of your life. It just keeps building and building, and you can develop new goals and new things that you work on, and you just keep expanding. And I'll wrap up with the definition of recovery, and it's the process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live self-directed lives, and strive to reach their full potential. And when you think about that, that's all encompassing. It's really all the different parts of your life, and striving to reach your full potential. Like, that's some weighty stuff, but what is your full potential? You won't know unless you try. How do we find out in these different areas for your health? Let's find out what I can bench. Let's see what my PR is. Let's top out, see what I can get to without injure myself. Like, see what my genetics or my body can do. Let's see, like I work out and I'm natural just like I choose to be. And, let's see what I can do with my genetics. Like, what is, my frame and different, things naturally good at? What do I naturally excel at? What are my weaknesses? I love finding them and then working on them. That's something exciting for me, is like leaning into your weaknesses, because there you can see this like amazing jump of growth. Once you've been working on something for several years and you've been developed at it, your growth is a lot smaller, incrementally than when it's something new to you. You can achieve these, jumps in growth. And I love that process. This is why I make these videos. I truly love all of this stuff. This is what I do for a living, is help people with this, and I live it myself. And lastly, I put a little road, once again, the journey to success or the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So here's your road to success. And, we don't even know exactly where it's going to go. So there's going to be twists and turns. Things are going to come up that's unexpected. You're going to adapt, but it's fun. It's part of the process. And the more that you do this and the more you develop this and the confidence that you gain, it just becomes for me, like a video game. So that's why when I'm at the gym and I'm pushing more weight than I did on like an exercise week before, it's like in a video game, like RPG, I'm leveling up. Like my strength just went up, like literally it's how I think of this stuff, because if I can make it fun, it helps make it last. That wraps everything up. But have a great day. Thank you very much. And I hope you really enjoyed this video and found it beneficial. Thank you.